Good afternoon, good evening. Since the 2023 elections, the one issue that has captured the nation, Zimbabweans, is the issue of what happened in 2023. And one of those key issues is, did Chamisa lie when he said he was going to plug all the vote rigging loopholes to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections? Well, nearly 2 million Zimbabweans believed that that was true, that Triple C was going to win big because Chamisa had plugged the vote rigging loopholes. That is what motivated them to participate in the flawed elections and ignoring the warning that Zanu PF was going to rig those elections, that if you participate, you give Zanu PF legitimacy, and that if you participate, you perpetuate the dictatorship and you're all suffering. They ignored all those things because they believed Triple C was going to win big. That is the reality. I firmly believed in the precept that all leaders are democratically accountable to the people. This is a vital requirement for a healthy and functioning democracy. And I think in Zimbabwe, many people would agree that we are aspiring to make Zimbabwe a healthy and functioning democracy. That is one of the precepts, the requirements. Leaders must be accountable. And that is not negotiable. And it should not be a subject for blackmail. And yet many people out there, since the 2023 elections, have been found themselves lost. When you ask him a simple, direct question, did Chamisa lie about plugging the vote rigging loopholes? Many of the Chamisa supporters cannot bring themselves round to accepting that he lied. Their commitment to the party leadership is so strong, they cannot get themselves to accept that he lied. That is how strong this tribesman mentality is, and blind allegiance to the leader is. But I bring you back to the precept. All leaders must be accountable to the people for what they've done. So you've got to get out of this mentality. Wash it out of your system if you want to get Zimbabwe to be a healthy and functioning democracy. You cannot have it both ways. We know now, with the benefit of hindsight, that Chamisa did indeed lie about plugging the vote rigging loopholes. Because Zanu PF and Mnangagwa blatantly rigged those elections. So the fact come back to the original. Chamisa lied that he had plugged all the vote-rigging loopholes. Here is a video just to remind those who still want to pretend that he didn't lie. Him claiming that he was forming the cabinet because Triple C was going to win those elections.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifo iri. Plan ya Mwari haifo iri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
While he had assured the nation with his hashtag, God is in it, that God was going to guarantee that Triple C wins. Well, if God was in it, then Triple C would have won the elections. They did not. So the hashtag God is in it was itself a lie. God was never in any of Chamisa's harebrained schemes. So we go back to the precept that all leaders are accountable. So if Chamisa lied, he must account for it. He doesn't want to account for it. He doesn't want to admit that he lied. Because he knows that the minute you admit that, yes, I lied, you've got to democratically account for why you lied. You've got to also democratically account for the consequences of your lies. And that he doesn't want to do. So what does he do? He's now reinvented himself and is coming back and saying, oh, those who are accusing him of lying or trying to hold him to account for his lies are doing it out of hatred. Here he is explaining that new idea.
Hello, how are you? Yes. How is everything that side and how are you doing wherever you are? Please take this message. Ignore the haters. Ignore those who are hired to pull others down. Let's lift each other up. The future is for all of us going up and not any one of us going down. God bless you. God is in it. I thank you. Hello, how are you?
Well, I think we have got to reject this. The minute somebody tries to hold you to account, you turn around and say it's because they're doing it out of hatred. That's totally unacceptable. You must owe up as a leader that you made a mistake. And in this case here, it wasn't a mistake. You lied. It was a deliberate and calculated lie. And instead of owning up, you want to turn around and blame those who say, no, you must be accountable, and pretend that they hate you. And it is no surprise, of course, that the Chamisa chete brigade have taken up that theme of hatred to its extreme. Anyone who calls for Chamisa to be held to account for lying is now fair game. He or she is accused of hating Chamisa. And that has become the distraction. Instead of focusing on the issue of Chamisa lied, why did he lie? What were the consequences of his lying? We are now sidetracked and start talking about hatred just to escape accountability. And he even evokes the name of God. Hashtag God is in it. In other words, God is in his new scheme of labeling those who dare hold him to account as demons, who hate him. I can tell you now, God is not in any of these harebrained schemes. And to keep on evoking the name of God, I think it's a very shameful thing. This is just mocking God. Let me re-emphasize the point. The precept that all leaders are democratically accountable to the people is vital for a healthy and functioning democracy. Chamisa is a public figure. He has conned not only once, several times, the people of Zimbabwe to participate in flawed elections, knowing fully well that the process is flawed, knowing fully well that Zanu PF was rigging, knowing fully well that by, by calling people to participate, you give Zanu PF legitimacy and you perpetuate the dictatorship. He must be held to account for it. And his attempt, shameful attempt, to escape accountability by labeling those who are holding him to account, blaming them for hatred, is only making the situation worse. Chamisa lied, and we know the reason why he lied. And worst of all, if we do not hold him to account, he will do it again. He will con people to participate in 2028 elections, telling them that he's going to win big. And then when you ask him to account for it, he'll turn around and say, you hate me. We can't keep on repeating this nonsense. If you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you don't want to be held to account, then you should not have held public office. If you don't want to be held to account, then you shouldn't have lied to the people. You shouldn't have conned them to participate in a flawed elections, to perpetuate the Zanu PF dictatorship. You cannot escape accountability by conning people into believing that those who are holding you to account are doing it out of hatred. You cannot escape accountability by pretending that God is in your scheme to escape democratic accountability. God is never been in any of your harebrained schemes. And I think to keep on repeating this hashtag, God is in it, is to mock God. You are accountable. You lied to the people about plugging the vote rigging loopholes, and now you must account for it. That is not negotiable. And if you think you can blackmail all those who are asking you to be held to account, think again. You will account for it. You did lie. You must admit you lied to the people, and you must admit the reason why you lied. This is not over, not by a long shot. Zimbabwe cannot be dragged into the 2028 elections on the basis of another idiotic lie, and thus perpetuate the dictatorship. That is an option that we must avoid, and we will avoid it. Thank you. Have a good day.